Hello, once again. This is Bill Steffen. We got a pretty good day coming up for you today. There's an outside chance for a shower developing. Best bet for that would be during the late afternoon, but yeah, some areas will get by without any rain at all, and the areas that do, it won't last too terribly long. There'll be a chance of a shower, thunder shower here on Friday as well, but the good news is we're going to clear things up for the weekend. Looks like Saturday and Sunday are both looking sunny and dry and very pleasant. And next week, we get temperatures up into at least the low 80s, maybe the mid 80s here as well. Hey, all this week, we've been following these crazy temperatures at Lake Michigan. This is noon on Wednesday, and that's a picture from the South Haven Pier. They were starting to get some rain. You can see there's nobody there, nobody in the channel, nobody walking the pier. All right, temperatures at noon on Wednesday. Kalamazoo was 63. Grand Rapids was 65 and Houghton Lake was 70. It got warmer as you went north because there was more sunshine as you went north. Now look at the beach temperatures here. At the Holland Beach, the wind was out of the east coming off the land, and the temperature there was at 65 degrees. And at South Haven, what's that, 20 miles to the south, they had a west wind off the lake, and the temperature was 11 degrees colder at 54. Now, during the day tomorrow, we'll take a look at tomorrow's forecast. We're going to have a northwest wind off the lake. And because of that, we're going to be seeing temperatures here that are going to be on the cooler side at Holland and about the same in South Haven. Readings ought to be in the mid-50s here during the afternoon. But not many people there at the beach when we're getting a little bit of rain there. Waves were not terribly strong and shouldn't be tomorrow. I think we'll only be running waves at around 1 foot or so. Okay, here's a look at the lakeshore forecast. Winds out of the west-northwest, 5 to 15 knots, waves around a foot. High temperature will be around 57, and that's a picture that we have from Wednesday. That's from the Gluro camera right at the channel. They take still pictures once an hour, and then every 10 minutes at times, too, you can have a particular view. And so there's the Lake Express ferry heading out for a rather cool, a bit damp, but pleasant trip going across Lake Michigan. Okay, let's take a look at what's ahead here for us. An isolated shower today. A chance of any one spot getting rain is about 30-40%. That's less than 50-50. There is a chance for an afternoon thunder shower here on Friday. Again, it wouldn't last too terribly long. We're not expecting anything severe. Dry weekend. Showers should clear out by around daybreak on Saturday, and Saturday and Sunday are looking great, so make your plans for the weekend. And it'll still be a touch on the cool side here over the weekend, but after that, we start to warm up. We should be up into the low to mid 80s here next week. Time to thank our sponsors. We'll be right back with the updated forecast.
And a shout out to our Bill Steffen sponsors. Complete Care Concierge LLC has you covered. The fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service serving all of West Michigan. They clean homes, condos, apartments, offices, workspace. They can clean on a routine basis. They can do any special kind of cleaning that you need. They can clean your rental. 616-264-1397, 616-264-1397. And here's a word from our other sponsor.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
All right, here's a look at the 66-hour rainfall map, and you can see there's a bunch of rain again. East of the Rockies, just about everybody sees rain, with the heaviest rain parts of Kansas, down across the southern U.S. once again, and out east. So a good portion of the country seeing some much needed rain here. There'll be some rain in the Pacific Northwest. Still could be a little snow in the highest mountains of Wyoming and Colorado here. But most of the precipitation here certainly will be in the form of rain. Let's zoom into Michigan here, and this includes rainfall from late Wednesday night all the way on through Saturday. And of course, it won't be raining on Saturday here. But we're looking at anywhere from a tenth to a half an inch. Most areas will probably be closer to a tenth, especially if you're north of Cadillac. It may not rain much at all up there. We're getting through the spring here without any significant flooding, which is a good thing. And I have just been joined on the table by one of the cats. So don't be surprised if a cat comes in and says hi to me here. Very friendly this evening. Hi, how you doing, little one? It's up in the corner right here. You want to come out and say hi to everybody? Yeah, you want to come out? Come on over here and say hi. Oh, a little shy, huh? Okay, well, let's continue with the weather. Severe threat Thursday afternoon and Thursday night. Slight risk level 2 in parts of Texas and a sliver of New Mexico. There's a marginal risk in that dark green color that runs from New Mexico all the way to the East Coast. It'll be isolated wind damage. I think yesterday there were just 51 reports of severe weather. May, of course, the month that often gets the most severe weather here in the United States. And then we move ahead here to Friday, and the severe threat is mainly on the East Coast. There's a slight risk here from Virginia on down to the Florida Panhandle. The dark green marginal risk there runs up to about the southern tip of New Jersey. We are in the light green here in West Michigan. So Friday afternoon, evening into the early nighttime hours, there is a chance for a thunder shower. However, it will not be severe. We're expecting just some routine thunder showers scattered about. Okay, long days in late May. We add another couple of minutes. Sunrise now at 6:07. That goes to 6:03, and that's it then. And the sun will start working its way back south again. Sunset time at 9:12. 12 days in a row with cooler than average temperatures here in West Michigan. That's not a bad thing to have happen in the month of May. May is now still running just slightly under 2 degrees cooler than average. Sunrise downtown Holland was on May the 25th, and you can see the sun setting there just to the right of the tower from the old bank building there. Okay, taking a look at our forecast here for the day today. Upper 60s this afternoon. Chance of a shower, but they'll be few and far between. Much of the day it will not be raining. Probably not worth dragging an umbrella around for this. Look for 65% humidity during the afternoon. Northwest winds probably about 10 miles an hour here during the afternoon, so not too terribly strong. Taking a look right now at the high temperatures for the next couple of days. This is for Thursday, and you can see we're 68 here at Grand Rapids, 56 at South Haven. So again, if you're going to be near the water, that cooling effect is going to be prominent. It warms up as you head inland, especially now that we have fairly high sun. What is that cat doing over there? Okay, let's go on to Friday here. Friday, we're a little bit warmer. Temperature 74 for Grand Rapids, but still 61 for South Haven. So we're looking for temperatures to be 10, 12 degrees cooler at the lake than there will be in inland areas. You can see the prevailing southwest wind. Temperatures warm up quite a bit over across the lake there at Milwaukee down towards Chicago. Okay, the forecast here for Saturday, day 3, we're a little bit cooler, but very pleasant with some sunshine. Temperature about 70 in the afternoon. Good time to get out to the garden, maybe grab the golf clubs and head out. It will be a touch cooler near the lake once again. South Haven gets a high of 59 here Saturday afternoon, and that's right down by the water. Once you get to the east side of South Haven, it'll probably be in the mid-60s or thereabouts, and then 70 by the time you get to US 131. And the 5-day forecast, we're looking for a chance of a shower today. They'll be few and far between. Little better chance of an isolated shower, thunder shower here on Friday. You can see we warm up a little bit from Thursday's upper 60s to Friday's mid-70s. And we'll see temperatures approach 80 here by Monday of next week. I expect Monday through about Thursday of next week, temperatures will be low to mid-80s here. So a real taste of summer expected. The long-range outlook here calls for temperatures to be a little bit warmer than average. This is a progressive pattern, so I expect the near normal to kind of inch toward Michigan here. But all in all, a pretty good pattern for us. And look how Alaska continues to be colder than average. There's about a third of Alaska still has snow on the ground. So that's interesting, especially that area along the Brooks Range, the northern mountains there. So interesting. And then in terms of rainfall, above average finally. So I think as the first part of this period, June 2nd through about the 6th or so, we'll have warm, dry weather here. Then after that, we'll get into a little bit muggier air. And then after that, things will finally start to turn cooler again. So it's interesting. Heading into June, the month with the highest sunshine of any month of the year.
Your kitty is singing the blues. Yeah.
My caddy is down at the other end of the table and making a lot of noise. So I don't know what's going on down there, but it's into something.
So we had a special guest with us in the Bill Steffen Weather Virtual Studio today. Justin Collar, who is a Wood TV alum and native of West Michigan. And we talked a lot about his career and what he's up to now. So you can go and find that on Bill, Steffen Weather.
Yeah, a lot of interesting things to talk about. He's got a picture of me when he was a Boy Scout, believe it or not. I used to make the rounds to a lot of Boy Scout events and to a lot of third and fourth grades. I tell you, people come up to me all the time and say, "Hey, you came to my third grade or my second grade or my fourth grade," and they still remember that.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting to me to hear the stories of people who are in the media and all the setbacks they have, all the work they have to do to get there, the grind, the things that they do to learn and get their foot in the door. It's really interesting. And every single one has a story about how hard they worked.
Exactly. Yes. And the biggest thing is to find a career that you really enjoy doing. I mean, it could be driving a truck. It could be working in a factory. It could be, knitting, whatever you really like doing. Find a way to earn a living doing that activity because you'll have a lot of fun in life.
All right, random question of the day. What do you call someone from Michigan? We have Michiganian, we have Michigander, domestic car owner, freshwater folks, or basically Canadian.
I think all of those would kind of work. I guess I'd go with Michigander. Illustrious politicians use that.
So they're both used in different places. They say that Abraham Lincoln was the first person to use Michigander to basically call a political opponent from Michigan a silly goose. So a gander, a Michigander. So the story goes, he's the first one and he wasn't being nice when he said it.
Oh, okay.
But this is from the federal government publishing style guide. It says that federally it's appropriate to refer to someone from Michigan as a Michiganian, which I don't think is as good because how do you pronounce it? Michiganian? We don't know. Michigander, everybody knows. Look
at some of the other names here. I'm from Illinois, so I guess I'm an Illinoisan or something like that, or an annoying Illinoisan or something like that.
Yeah.
But Hawaii is just Hawaii resident.
Yeah, they're not great, are they?
Why aren't you Hawaiian?
Right?
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right?
New Yorker, yeah, you're gonna be a New Yorker.
So this is the one I remember on TV when I was little, the Immunize Your Little Michigander campaign. Who else remembers it?
Yep. The Mitten State.
Yep. And they used Michigander, and it actually had a pretty drastic effect on vaccination rates in that period. It went from 46.7% to 5 years later being 70%. And since COVID, that number has started to decline again, which we could get completely off topic on that. And that stat came from a former Michigan Department of Community Health.
Okay, I'm turning away there to look at the cat to make sure they're not getting in trouble. I don't have to jump here quickly.
It's a cat.
I think
Probably getting in trouble.
It depends on the type of vaccine. Obviously, it's going down a little bit now because COVID was not quite the threat that some people thought it was going to be for kids. So some people are questioning that a little bit here. But
yes.
We've got
I'm the one that put
basic ones. I mean, I had 6 shots in 5 months, including my shingle shots and all that. But,
okay, something else that I found for today, May 25, 1905, the Grand Rapids Herald announces the death of Albert Baxter, and that name sounded familiar to me because I volunteered at the Baxter Community Center in high school. And Albert Baxter was born in Vermont and moved to Grand Rapids and was the editor of the Grand Rapids Eagle for 22 years. And he published histories of Grand Rapids in Kent County. And Baxter Street in Grand Rapids is named after him. And where the community center is now, it used to be a Christian school, which is started by the CRC and was taught only in Dutch for the first part of its history.
Wow.
Yeah. These little bits of Grand Rapids that we're finding day by day here, every little street name and everything has a story behind it that I didn't know.
There's a Baxter Laundry from way back when. In fact, one of the first radio stations in Grand Rapids was WASH, named after that laundry.
That's fantastic. It's
and
probably
Benny
from this
Baxter, one of
neighborhood.
the founders of the West Michigan Whitecaps, put it together. I wonder if there's any relation there.
So the school started off a CRC school and then became generic Christian so that the Reformed Christian could also go, and then the school closed shortly thereafter, and then the building became the community center.
Yeah, I know some of the Christian schools here in Grand Rapids were not intended to be long-term propositions. They were just to get people assimilated, and where they could speak English and go into the regular public schools. So, and of course, a lot of them stuck around. That West Side Christian's been around for 170 years or something like that.
So then another of the Grand Rapids historians was Charles Belknap, and that last name will sound familiar too. He published The Yesterdays of Grand Rapids in 1922, and the Grand Rapids Library still has these books.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
So he moved to Grand Rapids also at a young age, became the mayor of Grand Rapids and a U.S. congressman, the first commissioner of the Boy Scouts of America, and that's where we get the name Belknap Park and Belknap Lookout neighborhood.
Right. How many of you out there raise your hand if you went sledding down Belknap Hill? You know, we did that. We went to Union High School.
Yes, with you, we went sledding down every hill. Don't forget
Johnson
Richmond.
Park. Yeah, and in the backyard too.
If you could get your angles just right, you could slide under the pine tree, through the back fence, out down the hill, and you had to curve to the right to keep going. But you could do all that if it went just perfectly.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. We had those big snowy winters that we used to have back in the 70s and 80s, especially the late 70s.
May 29 is Everest Day because the first summit of Mount Everest was on that day in 1953.
And Norgay was the guide, and Edmund Hillary was an obscure beekeeper from New Zealand. So it's interesting.
So what's your best guess?
Boy, that's interesting. And that was since 53. I'll guess 3,000.
Wow.
That's not a huge number.
That's actually a pretty good guess. 7,269.
Yeah. Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll take that. Yeah. I know a lot of people have tried and have quit and come back down. How many people have died climbing Mount Everest? A lot, hundreds. I'll guess 429. Ooh, another pretty good guess. Yeah, 340. Yeah, I would not want to attempt that for a number of different reasons. It's an extraordinary climb, for one, and for two, you really have to deal with the fact that there's very thin air up on top of a mountain like that.
So it is named after Sir George Everest, who was a British surveyor who surveyed India. And it also has native Nepali and Chinese and Tibetan names that mean Sky Mother and Goddess Mother of the world.
And it's interesting. You can go to the top of that mountain and you can find fossils of trilobites and know that mountain was at one point in time at the bottom of an ocean and was lifted up. So it's pretty interesting.
Not to show my ignorance, but what's a trilobite?
Oh, it's a little creature. It's extinct. It's like what, inch and a half, 2 inches long, something like that. But it's an animal that would have been in a bottom of an ocean. Well, I recognize who that is.
Yeah, somebody sent in this. Since Michelle seems to work irregular nights at the airport, what is her job and does she have a regular schedule? Well, I like to say that I mitigate chaos. So the official title is customer service agent, but any problem that someone has that doesn't have to do with the plane actually leaving, then that falls on my desk and I'm the one that tries to come up with a solution, like you arrive and your bag doesn't, or a bag arrives and we don't know who it belongs to, or there's a person that needs a certain kind of help, or some kind of incident has happened and there needs to be a report. I basically run around solving problems.
And why don't you tell everybody who that is and the cherry picker there? Yes,
and that is me de-icing the plane. So I'm also trained to do all the grounds operating. So I've been out there marshaling the aircraft, crawling in the aircraft, loading and unloading the luggage, and this is me de-icing an airplane.
Wow, so, that's pretty cool. So
yeah.
Planes, pilots, safety, all rely on people that can de-ice a plane.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, definitely, for sure. Having a really good time. And then the schedule, I would say every 3 months or so, we get a different schedule, but that can vary too. But it's shift work. So if you aren't able to cover your shift, then someone else works for you. So if someone asks you to work, then you do the right thing and you work for them because one day you're going to want them to work for you. So that's why it's irregular. I actually have a regular schedule, but it changes because we change it up, just like covering a shift when you're a service person at a restaurant.
Right. Or a TV meteorologist.
Yes.
Same
Yeah.
thing. They're amazingly flexible with that at Wood, where people can shift a day or two if they have something going on like that.
Hmm.
So
So
very
this
nice.
was one of my Airbus marshals. So the person with the wands that guides the plane into where it's supposed to park. That's one of the things that I've done before. I don't do that a lot anymore, but that is something I've trained to do. So this was doing that for one of the Airbuses, and you've got to get it as close to the line as possible. So this one was perfection. So this is my Airbus marshal.
That's very nice. An Airbus 320 is a big plane, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, wow. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it's something the first time you do it, but you get over it.
Hmm. And that is perfect.
And this is me and my coworkers at work.
Okay. Kind of
Mhm.
neat. You got on
That's
the
a
yellow
little power
vest.
unit behind us.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah,
Rainbow.
yeah, rainbow on the ramp.
Hmm. It's amazing how I mean, people complain when a plane doesn't arrive on time when it's delayed, but I mean, most of air travel goes off without a hitch. I mean, it's really amazing how air travel works.
It's hit or miss.
Hmm.
Yeah. So this rainbow, this was Traverse City.
Hmm.
And do you
That's
recognize
not
the?
Traverse City. Wait a minute, let me guess. Phoenix.
Very good. You were with me.
Yes, I remember those rocks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
Chicago. You can see Chicago in the background.
yep,
And
that's from
how
the
far away is
Everest.
Chicago there? Is it like 20 miles or
I don't
even a
know,
little?
45 minutes on the blue line.
Yeah, I would guess about 20 miles, and you can see the Sears Tower down there.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And they moved the planes in. Oh my goodness, who is that? He looks younger.
Not much. That was your first trip with me. So that was only what, 3 years ago?
Oh, that's right. That's right. That was a wonderful trip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we just hopped a plane, went to Chicago. You could sit at the lounge there and do your work. I could do my computer work and whatnot, and watch the planes take off and land, and watch the sun. We watched the sun come up. I mean, it was great.
In
It really
Chicago
was.
and Washington, D.C., in the clubs, there's a view of the city. So you can go, and I've done it for both cities. I've flown there and just worked there for the day, done my freelancing, and
Hmm.
then flown back. You can like totally see the city without ever leaving the airport.
Hmm. Cats are chasing each other out here. Come on and watch the slides, kids. You know.
And I really like that it's a different thing every day with the job. So sometimes the bags are really disjointed and there's a ton of bags to carry off the belts and inventory and move. And it's a lot of work and I'm on my feet the entire time. And another day it will be researching some regulation that we have to make sure that we follow. So I like the variation. I like that it's not an office job. Travel is a topic that really interests me. So it's a really good fit.
You've been
For
able to
what
make use of your Spanish.
Un poco.
Neat.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever had anybody famous come through the airport while you've been there?
Oh, let's see. Well, I worked in Grand Rapids for a while when they were short-staffed there, and we would get the politicians to and from Washington, D.C. And I won't tell you which ones ride in first class. Um,
Well, I don't hold that against them. I think that's great. They're usually working, so they
mhm.
got papers out and they got a briefcase or something like that.
Ruben Studdard, Juan Carlo Esposito from Better Call Saul. These are people I've seen in airports. I
You
think,
saw Lee Smith, the pitcher for the Cubs. I actually talked with him for about 4 or 5 minutes.
yeah, Terry DeBoer. I saw her once.
Yeah, she's about as famous as you get in Grand Rapids. And of course,
Bernie
he.
Sanders.
Who was that last
Um,
one?
Bernie Sanders.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. But you
Looks
talked
like
to him.
just like such a regular guy.
Yeah,
Just
you
like
talked to him in
you'd see at
Congress,
your
though,
church.
didn't you, when you were at that program at Georgetown?
I saw him speak in Congress twice. So there was one day that they'd have all of the interns go down and we could actually be on the floor of the Capitol. I don't know if they allow it anymore. And we would all sit there and the different congressmen would come and talk to us. And Bernie Sanders was one of them. And he was the most captivatingly engaging, charismatic person.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe
Yeah. Was
should
like,
have been a
wow,
meteorologist.
I don't agree with all you're saying, but I'm really fired up.
Yeah, neat.
Yeah, really. really has a way with
We
people.
certainly enjoyed Vermont on our trip there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other famous people, I think that's about it
Mm-hmm.
that I've seen in airports.
Mm-hmm. I've had fun talking to people that are next to me when we're flying in coach, especially where you can talk to people next to you. And I've met some very interesting people.
Mm-hmm.
I met a lady from Chicago who had never flown much at all, just right around Chicago and Illinois here, and she was going to Greece for a wedding. And she was just like, oh, I never thought in the world I'd leave Chicago, much less go to Greece. So I had fun talking to her.
It's fun to engage with the people and communicate well and help them on their way and connect and try to make their journey a little bit easier and better.
Mm-hmm. And when you help somebody out like that, you get a good feeling. It's really neat to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And a photo from John Scully.
Sunrise or sunset, take your pick. Beautiful picture. You see the sun illuminating the bottom of the clouds there.
Mm-hmm. And there's John Doherty in that sunset.
Okay, yeah, we got some high clouds in the picture there, and mid-level cloud over on the left side there a little bit. Very neat picture. We certainly see a lot more sun around here during the summertime than in the winter. We can go for days on end without seeing anything but stratocumulus clouds. Wow, I think we've reached the end of our meteorological and trivia journey here tonight. I want to thank you so much for sticking with us till the end. I hope you have yourself a fantastic day today. And I tell you what, keep looking ahead at that temperature pattern for the low 80s here, at least for next week.